I forgot my my window stand. The Five Below piece of plastic. I never knew what the Enoch calendar was, and I still don't. And when I look it up, then I'll probably understand it better. Or if you even can, I don't know. But I do know this. Going by our lunar calendar, our regular calendar, compared to going by the Hebrew calendar in the days of Noah and Enoch. And, well, trying to go by the Hebrew calendar, until I read that article, I'm just going to assume it's true, because, you know, it's online. But I'm sure it can be verified that Noah had no idea about a Hebrew calendar because it didn't even exist yet. So it's the same as if someone's trying to say, well, Enoch was talking about gematria, and but yet gematria didn't, and nobody even heard about. I don't know how long people heard about it. I haven't heard about it, so until last year. So you can't go by a calendar that didn't exist in your time and you didn't know about. So that's eliminated, which is not only is it eliminated once, in my opinion, towards the Noah's calendar that he's going by, but at the same time, James Usher, you know, the Fitz-James family, anybody with the name James, you just don't trust. Period. You don't trust James Hardon. You don't trust LeBron James. You don't trust Stephen James DeShawn. You don't trust Curtis James Jackson, 50 Cent, who has 21 questions for Stephen. He has 21 questions, Steve. 21 questions. You know, after the third week, after 3 weeks, after 3 weeks. I did a video back about 7 days, and then January 18th. It was January 11th was the title, and then 7 days, January 18th, which is well, January 18th, which was the 28th birthday, right? So your 28th birthday, and then 7 days later. 7 days later. Well, 2 days later was King Cyrus's third year in reign. His third year, Steve's first year. You know, King Darius' first year, King Cyrus's third year. And because 2019 is the year. I told you we'd be here. I swear God purposely has me say these things so I can get as much doubt as possible from every single person imaginable, even the people that sort of believe me. So, but it was 7 days later from January 18th, and January 25th, obviously, is when Trump decided to play the, he decided to play the other role of Michael. Now, keep this in mind, okay? I'm telling you with 100% of my heart that the ram with two horns being played out is Donald Trump, and the little horn is Stephen James DeShawn. And the proof of that is, you're going to see the proof, because 100% of my heart that the ram with two horns being played out is Donald Trump, and the little horn is Stephen James DeShawn. And the proof of that is, you're going to see, you're going to see the proof, because 100% of my heart that the ram with two horns being played out is Donald Trump, and the little horn is Stephen James DeShawn. And the proof of that is, you're going to see the proof, because Stephen tried a month beforehand. He tried December 24th, which was exactly 8 years after he signed that little paper about his dad, or whatever it was. And then he stopped making videos for the entire year. And then I remember doing that same thing in 2017-18. I took a 7-day fast from YouTube. I stopped making videos on the 24th, and then New Year's Eve I made a video, and it was about Richie from Boston, and I did all the characters, and because I just assumed I'd get shut down anyway. But okay, so again, I was a year ahead of time on that one, and but as time goes by, knowledge increases. So Steve did he did the December 24th, and then he did 10 days, and then he finally came out and made a video. But he was going to do 3 weeks. He was going to rise up on January 14th and make his little statement about Michael, because he was already leaning towards that, saying Michael is in a freaking van down by the river, and he was asking him what he needs him to do, right? And so once I interrupted that script, he couldn't do it. But here's the proof that the other horn, the ram, the other horn, Trump, he is going by the same script. Okay, now, will Trump alter his script for me? I don't know. We're gonna soon find out. But you see that ram that has 2 horns, and one of them's higher and the other one comes up last. Well, Steve's coming up last, and they both have the same. It's the same. It's not the same exact script, because Trump's not saying Michael's helping him, but the underground little horn that's coming up last, it's going to be higher. Steve is telling you that it's Michael coming to help. So, but when you see the resemblance of Trump trying to pretend that him and Steve are identical twins. They both act like they're telling the truth when they're both flat out lying through their teeth, and pretending they're good guys when they're not. All right, not yet anyway. So when Trump is doing it, he's saying, okay, it is help. The government was shutting down. Sheen and Nina, I give you credit for when it said that Trump caved, with the parentheses around it, caved on the the deal. It's representing the going into the caves, into the rocks, and and the dens and stuff. So you look out for those parenthesis words, and but at the same time, it's something that the government is shutting down. So Trump needs some kind of help from a higher source, and so when you look at it, and it talks about 3 weeks. And then it says over the next 21 days in the article, it's referring to the Bible verse where Michael is standing up and helping. Now, it doesn't mean that that's the end, because when all those people stand up, when they truly do, after the 3 weeks, and then I believe after the 21 days, it's a continuance. Again, it's like the Enoch calendar. I believe that's what the Enoch calendar is. It's the calendar of a continuance from whatever it is that he's saying. If he says in the 10th month, it's 10 months from that point on. So it's 10 months from, it's from whoever's birthday. If Noah's 600th year, 600th birthday, it's the 2nd month, the 17th day of the month, which is May 21st or May 24th according to Enoch's calendar. Harold Camping has a calendar that was 3 days before Enoch's. So either way, I'm going with one of them. I'm not going with the James, not at all, especially when the Hebrew calendar wasn't even written when Enoch or Noah was talking about what they did, what they seen. So look at the similarities. Donald Trump, the king of Persia, and King Cyrus in a third year, his third reign. January 20th was Trump's third year. And Steve James DeShawn over there in the underground, the king of media, using the social media to using the gematria all over the place. I mean, everybody uses gematria, like all Hollywood, all the people that are fooled, that believe that it's real, they all use it because they all know that Steve's the one that wrote it. Steve, he mingles with his, I mean, he said, you got to remember this, you got to read between the lines. He said he mingles with his people like King David does. So you know he's mingling with all of the superstars and rock stars and movie stars and all the stars Steve is mingling with. He'll put on that front like he's poor or suffering. He puts on his old looking clothes and gets in front of the camera. Looks like he always wakes up. Look, you're playing a good role, Steve. You were a good actor at one point, but now you're a bad actor. So your gig's up. You're fired. All right? You're fired, Steve. That's what Trump's going to tell you. Oh, man. That's what Trump's going to tell you, Steve. I think that's exactly what it is. He's going to tell you you're freaking fired. Huh. That's interesting. So you are both using the same script, okay? So now, because you're... And even in... I mean, look, what's your video about, Steve? I don't know. But to me, the title says... The last days of winter, okay? Meaning winter, inactivity, and decay. Not actual winter. We're not actually talking about March 21st. We're talking about the third week and the 21 days in Daniel when it refers to Michael. And but you know, we could be looking at that also. We could be looking at March 21st also. Pray that your flight's not in the winter or on the Sabbath. I have to check to see what date it is. I don't know. So what's next? What's next, Steve? Let's see. When we get to February 15th, well, February 14th, there's going to be no more sweethearts. February 15th is, like Judgment Day. Is it going to be, are we going to get a 21-day extension? Huh? Are we going to get a 21-day extension? Now, I'll say this ahead of time. In case it does happen, then I know I'm on the right track with the timeline. I know I'm on the right track with the timeline anyway. The end of the timeline, I'm just trying to get the details in between the timeline. That way you can believe more that I have the script also, and I'm just reading the Bible just like they are. However, I'm understanding some other hidden sentences that you guys aren't. Dark sentences. So let's just say February 15th comes around and we get another extension. And then at the end of that extension is the script where, and at that time, Michael shall deliver his people, all the ones that are written in the book, and many that sleep in the dust, the walking dead, representing the people that are spiritually dead. Whenever that is, when you guys wake up, you're going to wake up to everlasting shame and contempt. And the ones that are written in the book of life, they're going to be delivered. So if you take that time frame there, 21 days from that point on, February 15th, it lands on March 8th. And I don't know exactly when, but I'm telling you this. We will hear on the news with Donald Trump, mark my words, we will hear that there is something. Now, I'll try not to get in detail with it and just be overall vague. That you will see the number 30. And they will talk about something that happens for 30 days. They might even say 30 years. They might even say something about 30 years. Or they might do that when they go to the number 40. When it's really 40 days, they're going to probably say 40 years. So, and that's representing the decree that King Nebuchadnezzar signed, which is a 30-day decree. So when March 8th comes around, and there's a 30-day decree, I mean, it could even be March 31st, a 30-day decree. March, April 30th, March, April, May 1st. 3 weeks, 21 days after that, Michael stands up. Who knows? We'll get to that point when we get there, but I'll just say it ahead of time how I feel right now with the timeline. 30-day decree where nobody can pray to their God. It's probably going to be, let's see, if there's a 21-day extension in Trump's eyes, but in Stephen's eyes, it's the 21 days landing on March 8th, and or if it's literally March 21st, it'll be with you a 30-day decree where you can't pray to any God. That would mean that social media, anybody on YouTube, anybody on Facebook, anybody telling the truth, anybody talking, you will start getting strikes. Okay, we will start getting strikes on our channels, but that 30-day decree has to be signed first. So I think Trump will change the rules and the laws and look to change the laws and times, just like Steve is, underground. Steve's doing it incognito, okay? Trump is the other horn. They're both like this. Trust me, okay? Steve and Trump are best buddies. They talk all the time. So they're both playing the same role, just a different script, but the same verse. The same verse they're playing out, whatever it pertains to when it comes to Michael, when it comes to 30 days, when it comes to 40 days, when it comes to the 3.5 days, and when it comes to the 10 days of trying God's servants, giving them nothing but pulse to eat. So I'll get back to that in a minute as to the continents on their faces, why we're going to be laughing at destruction, and the other ones that are eating of the king's, the portion of the king's meat, the meat that you guys gave them in due season, they are going to be crying at when that 10 days happens from May 21st to May 31st or May 17th to May 28th. I'm giving a give or take 3 days because of the Enoch calendar. Second month, the 17th day of the month being May 24th, and with Harold Camping's calendar, the second month, 17th day being May 21st, which is Noah's birthday, according to the calendar of Enoch back then. So those two are very similar and close. Now, so when you got 30 days, a 30-day decree that'll be signed, and all your snitches, oh my God, it's so perfect that it's absolutely all of the YouTube agents and snitches and trolls. You guys, once that decree is signed on May 8th, March 8th or March 21st, once that decree is signed for the next 30 days, you guys are going to be running to old King Ahab, and you're going to be snitching on us and saying, King, hey, Steve, they're over there still talking about Jesus. For Christ's sakes, let's give him a strike. What do you say, huh? Yeah, all right, let's shut him down. Oh, man. It's too easy, man. It's getting too easy. It's freaking fun. And because, look, Trump is using the numbers now. This is where it's getting interesting. We're going to continue to see numbers thrown out there that lines up perfectly with Daniel and everywhere else in the Bible with the 10 days, the 30 days, the 40 days, the 3.5 days, the 150 days, the waters being abated, the 10th month continually, 10th month in the Enoch calendar. Okay, I was wrong. I thought it was the Hebrew calendar. I've been saying this the whole time. I'm sorry. The 10th month that I'm getting from is the Enoch calendar on January, because when the 7th month and the 17th day is October 21st or October 24th, then the 10th month, you know, October is the 7th, and October, November, December, January. 3 more months later, according to the Enoch calendar, is January. So, okay, when the ark rested on the 1st month, when the tops were seen to the 10th month, and then it rested in the 1st day of the 10th month, I'm going by January 1st, like I said before, along with the 70-year prophecy of Israel becoming a nation again on May 14th, 1948, and then 70 years, May 14th, 2018, and then using the Enoch calendar, continuing from that birthday. It's all about continuing from birthdays. That's how I just assumed that the Enoch calendar is written. That's what I'm getting at with my eye. My eye is telling me that. So it's a continuance. It's not the end, it's the continuance. The 7th month, the 17th day of the month, continuing from the 70th birthday, is when the ark rested on Mount Ararat at the highest point. And from January 1st, the 150 days that the waters decreased continually, and but they also prevailed exceedingly. And so you got to read the language there. That the 150 days the waters were baited lands on May 31st, 2019. 10 days before that is exactly the 7th and of the 8th year. And then try us, King Nebuchadnezzar, for 10 days. I beseech thee, please, I'm begging you, look at the countenance of our face, okay? And see if we accept what you're saying and doing. See if we believe the bullshit in the sky as you're watching us from afar, you know? As you're watching us from afar and you're seeing exactly 144,000 people that you have been watching are not afraid. And they do not run like the rest of everybody else who's like, oh, Steve, what's going on? Because they don't believe what's going on either. So deal with your servants, Steve, accordingly. When you see our face as we're laughing at destruction, like Job 5:22, like as in May 22nd, and then understand how Enoch walked with God and was taken up, or whatever that verse is, or was not, whatever it is, in Genesis 5:24. And Enoch's calendar of the 2nd month, the 17th day of the month, is May 24th, 5:24. Must just be a coincidence, I'm sure. I'm sure that's what it is. So when you have a 30-day decree and your snitches are going to start snitching like the Jethro Pinky in the Brains, those guys are going to feel so great. Even though I'm telling you guys what you're doing now, you are still too dumb to realize what truly is going on here. And but you will, after those 10 days, the look on your face, oh man, the looks on your face, oh man, it's going to be priceless. So take a look at the continents of our faces and see our, the look, see the look on our faces, look at our personality, see our humor. Just watch how we are laughing hysterically because we know it's coming. We already know the flood's coming. I'm telling you, it's already been here. I've given you a 7-year notice beforehand also, and 7 days, and letting you know that the floodgates were open on May 22nd, 2018, right when Obama implemented the mark of the beast, the chip on the military, and Pope said it's okay to be gay. Now, because God made you that way, I will guarantee you that the message behind that is the Pope is literally saying, no, it's okay to be gay, like happy. Just like Trump said, no, I said Mexico's going to pay for the wall. They're not going to, not with money, stupid. No, I'm interpreting it. They're going to pay. You know what I mean? Like, Steve, you're going to pay for what you did, okay? You're not literally going to pay it out of your pocket. I mean, well, yeah, you kind of are too, but because your money's going to dwindle down to nothing after you accomplish to scatter the spoil of God's people. So, yeah, Pope meant it's okay to be happy. I didn't mean gay like homosexual. No, come on. So, you got the 30-day decree. Oh, yeah, and guess where that lands on? Oh, it happens to land on April 7th. Exactly 365 days since the beginning of Wars and Rumors of Wars. The last major prediction that I got dead on told you that war is going to start exactly on April 7th of 2017. And that's exactly what happened. So, it just gets even more funner this way. Because it's going to be a continuance of nailing down the dates, and you guys are not going to be able to escape. You just can't escape from that. When somebody's telling you what your script is from the outside, and they're laying down the dates and timelines for everything, well, just watch our faces, okay, for those 10 days. So anyway, that lands on April 7th. And then from that point on, well, according to the Enoch calendar, because I'm just continuing on, like, I'm using a continuance, you know, like the first day, the first month. From that point on, is April 7th would be the continuance of, you know, like the first day of the first month of that month, of that incident, of that situation, of the continuance of the birthday of April 7th. It's all about nailing it down 365 days later. Noah's 600th year of life, the floodgates opened. Noah's 601st day of the year. The waters were abated, and the self-same day, and then the waters were dried up 10 days later, the second month, the 27th day. So the second month, the 21st day, the second month, 17th day is May 21st. That's Noah's birthday. And then 10 days later, try us for 10 days. Give us pulse to eat, you know, those little tiny little vegetables, and water to drink. We will digest our own gospel, okay? Because our gospel, we are going to be laughing in the face of everything that is jumping off on May 21st. Now, from April 7th, add 40 days, you got May 17th. May 17th happens to be 3.5 days after the fake rapture on May 14th of the nation of Israel becoming a nation again, from the 70th into the 71st year. So there's going to be a fake rapture that's going to happen. The great earthquake's going to happen over in Israel, and 3.5 days later, and then that's when Daniel is talking. That's when there will be a time of trouble like has never been ever in the history of the world, up to that 3.5 day period from May 14th, the 71st year, where look, it only makes sense that everything goes to the very last day. The very last day up to the 365th day after the 70th year, the 365th day after the 7 years that we were warned that the floods started, back on May 22nd, 2018. Then we got 365 days exactly. It's the Enoch calendar. That is what the freaking Enoch calendar is. It has to be. It's a continuance of the timeline of the events, of the birthdays, of the anniversaries. It's a continuance. That's when you start continuing the date timeline that's written in the Bible about it. So the May 17th is 3.5 days after the fake rapture, after the great earthquake that they're going to say happened over in Israel. I thank God I got 3.5 months ahead of time to know this stuff. You know, like a times and a half. God's given me a times and a half ahead of time to know. So there's that. I'm just telling you. We're going to see how it unfolds. And so 3.5 days later, when Daniel's asking how long until the end of these wonders, these miracles, signs, and wonders. Well, 3.5 days, because he's seen the angel saying, you know, the man dressed in fine linen, dressed on this side of the bank of the river, and then on the other side of the bank of the river. And he said, how long to the end of these wonders? He said, for time, times and a half. So for time, times and a half, I'm just getting those 3.5 days. I'm covering all of the numbers. The 3.5 days lands on May 21st. And then, and that's when it's time to look at our faces for the next 10 days. Everybody else is seeing what they're seeing. They're scared shitless with everything. We are laughing at destruction like God told us to do. That's why He gave us. That's why He gave us May 22nd. Job 22, to laugh in the face of destruction and famine, and not to be afraid of the beast of the earth. So, and then when the mountains rested on Mount Ararat from the 70th year anniversary of the nation of Israel becoming a nation again, and then the continuance from that birthday, from that anniversary, the 7 months and the 17 days lands on New Year's Eve, New Year's morning, and the ark rested on Mount Ararat. So we were at the highest point now. We're at the highest point. I, Daniel, understood the number of the books, the number of the years determined by the desolation of Jerusalem by the books. Also in the first year of King Darius, I, Daniel, understood the number of the books, the number of the years by reading the books. That's what Daniel's telling people back then, is he understood at that time, in that year, in the first year of the month, like January, that he understood the number of years by the books. And so from that point on, from the 70 years, 7 months, 17th day continuance, the waters will decrease continually for 150 days. 150 days is May 31st, which is 10 days after May 21st, which is exactly the 7th and of the 8th year, going into perdition. Going into perdition for 10 days. I beseech thee, please look directly into our faces, as I'm going to pick up my phone, even if it ain't on, and I'm going to be laughing in your face, Steve. Man, it's so great to know what you're doing and who you're all about.